Really excited to continue looking at DESE's instructional tools that they are piloting for this school year. This one actually frames any sort of walkthrough you do as a leader, whether you're an instructional coach, a department head, a principal, a vice principal. This is going to be really exciting. You can check out the other videos and the tool set for like an actual look for list, instructional thing you're going to bring with you on the walkthrough. But this gives some really wonderful kind of laying of the foundation and examples of low inference nodes. I think sometimes we say low inference nodes and it's like, what does that actually mean? So this will show you some examples.
Here is the guidance. We're going to orient first to kind of the purpose, goal. I love that it says 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes I think we stay in classes a very long time. So it's also strategically choosing the 10 to 15 minutes, right? They all look different. Really thinking about the goal being in continuous improvement, and the frequency being very regularly. This could be monthly. It could also be weekly. It depends on how much time that you have. Also, it could give kind of on the spot feedback for specific teachers, but it could also be in the aggregate, right? We're emailing out. We actually see these trends across classrooms, and it is not used for teacher evaluation. So there's a lot of different pieces here. Please feel free to use all these checklists and think about all of the pieces. There's a whole cycle, but what I want to name here, here's an example of low inference nodes. So for example, you can see the text that students are on. You can see what is projected in the class. You can see the actual teacher words, right? So these are the words coming out of the teacher's mouth. This is the time from in between this sentence or set of sentences and this one, right? We see a teacher walking to a table, right? We see all the teacher moves here. Then we, on this side, see the students, right? And so we name here, there's one teacher in the classroom. We also name there's 25 students, 17 male, 8 female. I also want to name here that we may have students who are non-binary. We may not, we have to know our students to be able to do this. We don't want to assume gender. And we also want to name perhaps not just gender, but like racial identity, linguistic identity, like ability status or like IEP status. So these are all kind of things. I get that this is something that's just one example, but just things to consider here. All students are turning openness. 4 students are raising their hand. 1 student answers, right? Here we have 4 males, 2 females raise their hand. So I think also naming the inquiry question up front as we go in to be like, okay, so here's what we're looking for. We're looking for maybe a gender bias in, is there a gender bias or is there a gender imbalance in how students are participating, right? And then here we have an interpretation. So most students were attentive and on task, 20 out of 25, right? Here's what we have. And then they kind of go through. After the walkthrough, there's a checklist. And then we wrap.
This just gives a sense of what it could look like to give low inference nodes, and also gives you the context of like, what do you do before, during, and after? What does the whole cycle look like? I'll link to this resource in the description. I'll also link to the whole compendium of piloting documents for leaders that DESE is releasing this year.